KwaMashu residents in Durban have blocked streets calling for power to be restored. The area is said to have experienced prolonged outages owing to heavy rains. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise joins us live from there with those details. Nobuhle, good afternoon to you. Any inclination from authorities with regards to when power will be restored to KwaMashu?
A very good afternoon, Katleho. A very funny story as we're standing out here waiting to speak to you. The power went on. We saw the people behind me just celebrating, and I think they are in the process of opening up the roads. But from my understanding, someone who's just walked past was telling me that it's only this section that's been restored. A better part of Section D in KwaMashu is still without power. And these are just the results of that weather that we saw in the past 2 days, where there were heavy downpours, and unfortunately we saw the lives of 6 people being lost and some people being displaced and their houses being destroyed. And now this is another added layer to that particular issue, where there's been a number of outages that have been reported by the eThekwini municipality, and they have said that they are trying their best to ensure that they do restore the power. But the people here in KwaMashu have said that they are now on day 3, and yes, this was caused by the rain, but they claim that the calls that they've been logging to the municipality have been ignored, and this is why they decided in the early hours of this morning to blockade the roads and even burn tires. We understand that earlier this morning there was a lot of activity on this road and on the main road as you come out of KwaMashu D section, where they had blockaded the road and also burnt some tires. But many of them didn't want to speak on camera. I managed to speak to a lot of them, and they wanted to speak anonymously, and just a lot of them just saying they're frustrated because their food stuff is going off in the fridges. Some children were unable to go to school because there's no power, and just a lot of them saying, some of us have babies and we're unable to make bottles for them. And so there was a lot of frustration, and that's why they decided to take matters into their own hands by blockading the road so that they get the message out to the municipality, who has said that they're trying their level best. In the statement that they sent out yesterday, following the disaster that took place in the past 2 days, they did mention that there are some places that are without power, not mentioning which places in particular. But obviously this morning we woke up to news of the fact that people in KwaMashu, were saying that they are tired of not being heard. They've been logging calls to the municipality and no one has been hearing them. And so they decided that because they're not being heard, this is what they're going to do. I'm going to move out of shot just so my colleague can show you what's happening behind me. But they are now trying to clear the debris off the road. They had blockaded the road with some rocks and, tree barks and the likes, just making sure that people don't go through. I understand that some people's cars were being stoned if they attempted to go past this point. When we got here earlier, before the power was restored, they were, threatening those who were trying to get past this barricade that they had created. But seemingly, like I said, as we were standing here waiting to speak to you, Katleho, there was a celebration as the power came back on. But like I said, we've heard that it's just one part of the section that's on, and there's still a lot more areas that are still without power. And the city is saying that they're doing their level best to ensure that, the areas that are without power because of the rains, the heavy downpours that we saw, they are trying their level best to ensure that people's power gets restored.
Do you hope that more of those areas will have their power restored as soon as possible, and we'll continue seeing the clearing of those roads as we are seeing where you are? That's Nobuhle Modise out in KwaMashu.